everyone calls me Dr. Tina. Thanks so much for having me.
Can we just clarify, what exactly is the sandwich generation, just for people that don't know?
Great question. So the sandwich generation refers to those who are sandwiched between caring for an older person, usually an aging parent, and caring for a dependent child as well. And so there are about 11 million Americans who fall into this specific category who are actively caring, and about 1 in 4 adults will say that they, have experience doing this. And so it really affects so many people.
That's not at all what I thought. Why we were called the sandwich. I thought because we were the generation that ate a lot of sandwiches. They were like, we had Lunchables.
It's true.
That's
true, right?
Yeah. Thank you for clearing it up.
Do you see more of these women suffering from mental health because of all the burnout and everything that they're carrying? When it comes to being part of the sandwich generation?
Absolutely. I mean, what these women are going through is that when their phone rings, they're wondering, is it the hospital calling because mom has fallen and is in the emergency room, or is it the school calling because I need to pick my kid up early, and how am I going to get to work in between all of this? So you can imagine that constant sense of being alert, on the go, worrying about so many things really puts these women at greater risk for anxiety, depression, and burnout. And we know that about 50% of these women screen positive for anxiety and depression. 40% report that they're burnt out. And as you said, this coincides with a period of life where many of these women are in their 40s and 50s, coinciding with perimenopause and menopausal symptoms. So our brain's ability, with all these hormonal fluctuations, it reduces our brain's ability to respond to stress. And they are under so much stress. So you can imagine there are a lot of mental health implications.
And you handle stress differently at 40 than when you're 30, when you're 20. So it just kind of seems like it affects you a lot more as a woman.
Sure. And I think it's just a multitude of factors coming at you constantly. And I know we're going to talk about this, but it's also, when you're constantly worrying about someone and feeling that weight on you, of course, it naturally breeds anxiety and stress. And sometimes we sacrifice our own health in this process.
Why is it women? Why aren't men helping?
It's a great question. Yeah. So increasingly, we are seeing more and more men stepping into the role, but still the vast majority, about 66% of these caregivers are women. And historically, socially, culturally, this is the job of women, caregiving. And they are so used to bearing this responsibility of coordination and managing everything. I've seen families where there's 10 siblings and it still falls on one person no matter what. Yeah. And so I hope that people are going to start to realize that this isn't one person's responsibility, and it's something that really needs to be shared.
And you say they need practical support. So how can family members help them?
Absolutely. So as I said, it often falls on one single person. And family members, we really need to move away from this model of saying, let me know if I can help, to saying, I'm going to take mom for a few hours to her next appointment. I am going to take your kids over the weekend so that you can have a bit of a break. I'm going to help manage mom's medications, or I'm going to coordinate with the lawyers about the elder care lawyers. We need to start offering people practical, actionable support, even if that's just offering to put dinner on the table. For women in this role, their lives don't stop. The demands placed on them and the dual dependency of aging parents and children really creates a lot of responsibility. So asking yourself, how can I help? What can I take off this person's plate is the best gift that you can give them.
Is it fair also to say, we are allowed to ask for help? We can also voice that to our family members.
Absolutely. I tell people that asking for help, we often wait until we're burnt out and it's too late, and that is a danger to ourselves and to the people that we care for. I think asking for help is one of the biggest shows of strength and leadership, and we need to be very clear, unfortunately, as women, to say, it's not just, can you help me? It's, can you help me with this?
Delegate.
Yes, delegate. And unfortunately, we're used to that. And until society, as you said, catches up to this, we need to be clear. My mother once said, people are not mind readers.
Right.
So we need to be very clear about asking for what we need.
There's something about vulnerability that people are very afraid to express.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about the workplace? Because there's policies, changes in the workplace that can be done as well.
Yes, and lost productivity due to absences for caregiving, and it costs employers $522 billion a year. So it's really important that they put in policies that support these families. Everything from remote options, flexibility, not just paid leave for childcare, but paid leave for caring for an aging parent is so important. And recognition that this is what people are going through and allowing them a significant amount of grace. I'd also add that we really need to subsidize options like respite care, adult day programs, so that people know that their loved ones are being cared for and they can still go to work.
And women all often just leave themselves for last. Instead of being the last on the list, it should be a priority, right?
Yes, on the airplane, we always say put your oxygen mask first, and somehow for women and moms, that never applies to us. And so, you know, we know that 50% of women in this country have missed a preventive screening this year. Of course, when you're managing everybody else's needs, it's only natural that you put yourself last. And so it is so important that our health in our 40s and our 50s dictates what our health is going to be like in our 60s and our 80s. It is so important that women put themselves first, and that the people in their lives, their employers, their family members, their friends, they create a village that enables them to do that.
And hopefully they take care of themselves. With Mother's Day coming up, take care of them. You know, just a perfect opportunity.
No flowers.
Thank you.
This is the best gift you can give.
Get a massage and help out with the family. Thank you, Doctor, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
For more information, you can follow Dr. Tina at Enlightened Caregiver on Instagram.